I will always remember when I make my decision to sing Othello. And I sang my first Othello when I was 34 years old. And everybody started to say it's not too early. And my answer was, I feel ready. And it's better too early than too late. And the only thing I took the decision is because it's such a dramatic character. It demands so much of you, both vocally, dramatically. It really wears you out. If you are a singer with really deep feeling and temperament, it's a character like there are many of them, but this character you have to live so intensely, and this colossal character, which is such a great figure, the collapse has to be so unbelievable, so unbelievable that you pass through all kind of feelings, all kind of vocal difficulties. You have a lot of hard, very, very hard moments. You have to have the stamina. You have to have the ring. You have to have the high notes. You have to have the low part. You have to have the metal to pass over the orchestra. You have to have the velvet to sing the love duet, to sing some of the phrases of the last act. To sing, you have to be convincing as a Shakespeare actor, to sing especially the monologue in the third act. And I make a promise to myself. I was never going to sing, and I did it that way. I was never going to sing more than, let's say, 10 performances of Othello in a year. And I keep my promise. And it was a good result. And I did a good choice. After that, I immediately sang roles. Even in my first run of Othellos in Hamburg, I decided to do a Tosca in between some of the Othellos to see how I was feeling. And there is a story that I remember during the time I was rehearsing the Othello. Professor Lieberman has left already Hamburg, and he was in Paris. And 2 weeks before my premiere of Othello, we cast a Bohème in Hamburg, and he was coming. It was to celebrate his birthday, and his phrase was said, "Let's hear today Placido in Bohème, because we are not going to be able to hear him anymore in a role like this after the Othello." And it was very sweet. He means well, he really have I think we do have a mutual admiration for each other, and he means well. He was kind of worried that I wouldn't be able to keep the freshness in the voice and to sing the lyrical repertoire. But as it happens, I did that Bohème, and what was my next opera in Paris, where I went and I sang back about, I was singing about a year later in Paris, La Bohème. So I was able to say to Professor, fortunately, It was not my last poem before the Othello, but I'm very proud, I'm very happy that I can still sing La Bohème. And I'm also, thank you very much for worrying. And I think the whole world was kind of worried, but I sang from 75 to 2001, no, even more. I think it was after that, 2003, 2004. I sang 220 something Othellos, and it always was one of the great experiences for me. It was a role that, fortunately, even though it was very difficult, it was one of the roles that I could disengage more of thinking of the vocal troubles. I was so concentrated on the acting side that, I mean, for me, it was just almost like I was talking. I was thinking of the character just as "'tis better as it is," like the first words of Shakespeare, and I I really never feel the pressure. Some performances that you were sick, you were on the weather, of course, under the weather, of course, they were more difficult. But I always enjoy tremendously to do this monumental part. Yes, I feel a very deep association with the role, and it is always, as it happens, it's not that easy. They come Othellos and they go, they comes and they go, but always the Othello in some artists it has marked a a period of time, like like it was the Del Monaco, if it was the Vickers, you know, and McCracken, and then it's for years. Then you do the role. That's what it is. It's not a role then you do now and then, like every 4 years or 5 years. It's a role and you continue doing, and you do it in all the theaters. And practically, I really went to every theater. Of course, I mean, I did it in the four big ones. I mean, the Scala, Metropolitan, Covent Garden, and Vienna, and Munich, and Hamburg, and Barcelona, and Madrid, and New York, and San Francisco, and maybe Chicago. I did it also. So I did it practically all around, in Japan and every place. It is a very strong love story, and there are some descriptions in some moments of Othello. I mean, you have to realize how brave was Desdemona in those days. To fall in love against the wishes of the father with Othello, and it's unbelievable the beauty of Desdemona, seeing this unbelievable angelical figure, admiring and being absolutely crazy for Othello. It must be a very passionate character, Desdemona. She kind of put herself there. Here I am, to Othello, and Othello, of course, he can't believe his. And so that's the reason. I mean, this almost improbable love story, in those days. And the fact that it happens, and then the poison of Iago just coming so strongly and so determined to get him, then it brings us to the collapse, to the total destruction of the character, becoming a murderer and suicidal. I think in order to understand the religious problem also, I think that he kind of being so happy with Desdemona, he kind of not that he changed religion, but he goes with the Christian Catholic, the Catholic religion in a way, until he collapses. When he collapses, he feels lost in another place. He feels completely lost already from the monologue to the very end. And I think when he comes to the stage on the last scene, he comes back with the idea that she has sinned and he has to punish her. There is nothing else to do. There is nothing else to do. So he arrives like he is his duty to do it. And then after he realizes what he has done, he still is a believer, then he's going to see her later on. So when he realized the tremendous tragedy, the way he was completely betrayed really by Iago, he knows there is another world, and then he will see her again. When he talks about un bacio, at the end, the 3 kisses that he mentioned at the beginning in the duet, un altro bacio, then he cannot finish the phrase. Still it is in a way, it is a happy death. He couldn't live longer after he has killed her. And in any case, in that moment, he believes then he's going to see her again. But really he feels already in those days what gives him the assurance of himself is his power, his military power, which is taken already by the fact that they are giving to Cassio the power, and Cassio is exactly the person, and he believes is Desdemona's lover, So it's a whole conflict of feeling himself completely lonely. So I think for me, for the first in the monologue and after in the tercet, when Iago managed to make him believe that Cassio is talking about Desdemona, and then with the big arrival, of Ludovico, and give it the news that Cassio is going to have his position, he feels totally destroyed. Is the collapse, the higher and the great someone is, the collapse is really bigger, and it's a total destroy, and it is the music. It gives so many different colors at the end with the new mi tema, and then the leitmotif of the kiss, and the way Verdi finished the opera, which is of course a master. I mean, the difference of between the Aida and the Otello, which there are many years in between. One wonders why. It's one of the big question marks. Verdi wrote Aida in 1871, and then Othello in 1887 is the premiere. 16 years. Such a prolific composer. I wonder how much he was, as big as he was and as great as he was kind of realizing what Wagner was doing and how much he wants to present something else. And certainly he did it with Othello. The Othello, even though the Aida is a great opera, Othello is a superior composition. The way the orchestration it is, the way it's conceived, the whole different colors, the whole different climax. And of course I have been lucky to do it with some of the best conductors and bringing out the best possible in every bar, in every little passage, in every big passage, with if he's in the lyrical moments, in the dramatic moments, just to find something that has been ideal for me to sing, to interpret. I think this Othello, to work with Elia, which actually we kind of repeat the production at the Bet, they are very, very similar. And Elijah is a terrific director. Is somebody that stars. He works very much on what the reaction of the artist, how one reacts, but also give you a wonderful ideas. And he just so sometimes he will just tell you, yes, that's fine, Flats, you just do it that way. But I think, you mind, I think it could be also done this way. And as I told you before, I have never, especially in Othello, I have never been, just insisting on do this and do that. I think the most beautiful thing for me is actually if I can arrive to a production and I can get something totally new. Most likely the essence is there and many of the things they have been living with you, but sometimes it's difficult. But if there is something very special and there is behind a director that you trust and so on, well, it's fabulous. I have been able to, of course, to work in Othello with Elia, with Terry Hands, with Zeffirelli, with so many great directors that is always good to arrive just ready to work. With every production, with every conductor, every director, Desdemona, Iago, you have to be different. and I have been always very flexible. I don't like to say this is the Othello that I do. You know, is you just have to be well directed. You just have to be well conducted. I mean, certainly the things that I have done in an Othello with Levine or with Abado or with Cliver or Schulte. Everyone, just to mention four of the most most performances that I did of Othello. These four conductors, they were involved. Each performance, it was different. Each experience was, totally different. In this particular case, with Schulte, I have, it is a big distance. My first Othello with Schulte was in Paris in 76. And the last Othellos, there are these ones in Covent Garden, 92, in 92. So you see, it's a lot of time, between these Othellos. And I think that I have to say it, from the very first Othello that I did it in Hamburg in 75. Actually, the next Othellos, they were the ones with Schulte in La Bastille. The first ones, they were with Levine in Hamburg. The critics and the public, if you read the critics already in Hamburg and in Paris, they were really stupendous, sensational, the reviews. However, when I see how much I matured to the role, I cannot say that those performances were bad. No, they were very intense. But logically, you really get all the experience. You go deeper and deeper and deeper into the music and into the drama. And according who do you have as Desdemona and Iago, it really helps you, Sometimes I have been lucky with the Desdemonas. I have been very lucky, and in this occasion is Kiri Kanawa, which Dame Kiri, which is really, really a wonderful Desdemona. We did other performances, and it really has the vocal qualities of the character, because the floating in the voice, so that the pianissimi, then she sings. Then she has the temperament and the sweetness of the character, but being at the same time strong, because Desdemona cannot be weak. Desdemona is a strong character, because she shows, as we talked before, she reveals against her father, and she will take, Othello as a husband and live with him. So it's a strong. So according with the Desdemona, sometimes you play one way or another. I have had across the years the very, very young Desdemona. I have had the very already mature Desdemona. I have been a very young Othello to a mature Desdemona. I have been older Othello with a very young Desdemona. In any direction, you have to accommodate things. I have had brilliant actors as Iago, which it really helps. The most beautiful thing about Iago, I think, is when they are so good in front of Othello. Then it's almost unbelievable, you know. I mean, and but he trusted. I mean, you have to remember the Alfiere in those days. It was somebody that helps the big general, soldier, whatever, the emperor, king, whoever was in the battle. The Alfieri used to dress them. They knew all their secrets. They knew all their lives. They knew everything, and because of that, is that they have this way. They know the weakness of the character, and he knew how to put it. But you know, if you have in front an Othello, then it looks to you like a villain already. You cannot play. You cannot play because it's I mean, you have to play stupid, you know. But if you believe, and it is somebody just drops the lines, just kind of reading, being distracted like this, and say, "Oh, do I say that? Oh, I don't mean, you know." It, it is understandable. Somebody will deliver a phrase with certain weight already, you know. I mean, then Othello must be that dumb, you know, if he doesn't realize. So I enjoyed very much the performance of Sergei. Of course, we did it several times also at the Metropolitan, and I think it is a wonderful performance. And in fact, I do believe that they were the last live performances I did with Sir George, with Sholti, which we were planning for a long time to do a recording of Tristan, which we never find the time together to do it. I'm very happy I still did it with Papano, but I'm sorry that for years we were planning there, and actually I think the last time we did something together was probably was the night then Covent Garden closed for the renovation, you know, and so he was a very, very, very enthusiastic conductor, and also a singer's conductor. I enjoyed very much working with his kind of energy, you know, and so this is a good Othello to see.